Hi there, everyone. It's Jeff Z. It's Sunday, June the 9th. And we've got, poor Alex. Alex has been in Watford and I guess in London doing the usual Bilderberg thing, which is very important. I mean, even though there's going to be a lot of contention over Alex Jones himself, the Bilderberg protest is very important. It's very, very important that people take place in it. I'm always getting asked very frequently what I think about Alex Jones and whether he's a disinfo agent, whether he is, CIA operative or whatever. I think he's perfect. He's the perfect guy for the shadow government to have exposing them, because he's one of these guys. Instead of bringing a pen, he brings a sword. Instead of bringing a trowel, he brings a bulldozer. And whenever he does his appearances on mainstream television, they're always over the top. Probably the most watched news interview of the past year was the Piers Morgan, Alex Jones one, which, on one hand, there's so much truth to a lot of the things that he's saying, but his delivery is so bombastic and over the top that it's ripe for ridicule, and it's perfect for the sheeple. It's a perfect way to condition people to shut down when confronted with anybody who has a conspiracy theory or believes in a conspiracy theory or doesn't believe in the government. They can put a guy like this up and he will basically make a fool out of himself more times than not. And so let's look at his latest appearance here on the BBC Sunday Politics show with Andrew Neil something.
What have I discovered about Bilderberg? The BBC was able to get the documents decades ago that they helped found the euro, which was actually a Nazi German plan to take over countries economically. No, that's on record. And I've interviewed members of the EU Parliament on the subject who were out there at the event. But what's that? 3,000 people. They turned 1,000. Bilderberg is heavily involved in the EU plan and helped hatch it, and it is a Nazi plan. They had Lockheed scandals, just like the big lobbying scandals right now in the 70s, and that's why the SS officer, Prince Bernhard, the founder, had to step down. It is the ultimate lobbying meeting while you guys have this huge scandal going on. Your prime minister's going there. Balls was just here, Bilderberg group member. We have forced them from cover to admit that there are puppeteers above the major parties.
David around. So now we know now we know that Bilderberg has given us the euro.
Yes, I mean, if you talk to Alex for any length of time, you discover all kinds of things that you didn't know about the world.
We've blown it wide open.
You have. You have absolutely blown it wide open. But it leaves me with a huge question for you, Alex. And it's really, you have uncovered the New World Order, which is deadly. It's full of what you call people who are criminals. Well, this is what I'm coming to. It's full of criminals, etc., who seek to run the world and will kill anybody who gets in their way. And you are almost, have been, a lone crusader powering against them. So how come? How are you still alive?
Why am I alive?
Well, no, which is which is the explanation? One, they don't exist. Or two, you're part of the conspiracy.
No, let me tell you a story.
I say the first.
5 years ago when Obama and Hillary...
I say the second.
5 years ago when Hillary and Obama were at Bilderberg and the Secret Service was there in helicopters, the New York Times came out and said I was crazy. There was no Bilderberg group meeting. And my wife got phone calls, and so did I, threatening to kill us. And the people said, and you better take it serious because you were just talking to your dad that was in the hospital. You better shut your mouth or we're going to cut your head off.
But
now, they listen to everybody's phone lines. They call up and harass people that expose them and tell them what they were just talking about. They harass people. You're going to say there's no spying.
Alex,
it's like Nazi Germany. The only spy on the bad guys, huh?
You let him speak now.
Well, sure. Alex, I saw one of your ministers say this, though.
No, Alex, I'm here.
It's tyranny.
No, shut up. I'm here to testify that your head was not cut off.
Ladies and
Are you
gentlemen,
sure
if
about
they
that?
kill me, it turns me into a martyr. It puts big exclamation points on the end of what I've said, and I have put out a lot of information. There's millions of others that are exposing it. And look, we have mega banks that are getting $85 billion a month of U.S. taxpayer money. Most of it goes to Europe and England. British taxpayers, EU taxpayers have to pay to these mega bankers. They're in there setting this up. It's come out. And then the media distracts you with, look at a guy that talked to a lobbyist, when the real lobbyist is going on.
Listen, you're not going to dominate this. He gets to speak too. It's not your own radio show. Shouldn't we be worried about Bilderberg Group at all?
It's kind of, it's mildly interesting, the Bilderberg Group, and it feels, doesn't it, when you were talking about it in the film, slightly kind of out of date as belonging to the era when you couldn't, when you couldn't even admit in Parliament that there was a success, when we called the head of MI5M or whatever it was we called them, and we couldn't admit to these things. Yeah. And so to the extent that it seems
people weren't ready to be spied on yet.
What was that a fact?
People haven't been acclimated yet.
Could you let him finish?
We're in a police state. It's 1984.
Yeah, listen,
well, you guys just want to normalize it.
Would you let him
Alex,
finish?
how come you're here? If we're in a police state, how come
they actually turned back some of my reporters, but they didn't turn me back, and I was told this because they don't want to make a stink.
Do you think the BBC is part of the Bilderberg Group?
Well, Winston Smith did work here. I mean, come on, Eric Blair worked here, and that's what he said it was.
Why do you think we've let you on? Why have we let you on then?
Because you guys think that you can manage the whole thing, and now our information's gotten too big. I have 3 million radio listeners a day. That's a low number. 3 million. I get about 50 million YouTube views a month. That's a very conservative number. I make films, put them online for free, that get watched 40 million times, like the Obama deception. That's why, because the establishment doesn't know what to do.
Now, Alex has this point, and it's an important one. I would have, say, 10 years ago, said, listen to all this stuff. He believes that people put cancer virus in vaccine in order to create a eugenics program. That's what he believes.
We talk about medical discovery,
and we would have said, I would have said, hey, that's kind of mad and so on. And it's an interesting psychological phenomenon.
Like Tuskegee,
the problem is the conspiracy theories like this. I believed in.
Hey, listen, I'm here to warn people. You keep telling me to shut up. This isn't a game. Okay, our government in the U.S. is building FEMA camps. We have an NDAA where they disappear people now. You have this arrest for public safety, life in prison.
You are the worst person I've ever interviewed.
No, it's basically off with their heads, disappear
David, thank you for being with us. Infowars.com. 11:30. You're watching the Sunday Politics. We have an idiot in the program today.
You will not stop freedom. You will not stop the republic. Humanity is awakening. Infowars.com. No.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, right? I mean, they played him like a fiddle, right? He played right into their game, right? This is...
I'll be looking in the week ahead with our political panel. Until then, the Sunday Politics across the UK.
Yeah. And we've seen it time and time again. This is why Alex Jones is there. This is why, as they're asking why he's alive. The guy says, well, either it doesn't exist, which is obviously not true. Of course, everyone knows the Bilderbergs exist by now, and if you don't, you're living under a rock, or you're a complete sheeple, and your brain is completely fucking glucose fructose to the point where you can't even think. But yes, the Bilderbergs exist. So the second point, the second option that they gave for why Alex Jones is alive is that he's part of it, which is a possibility, obviously, right? It's something that we can't entirely discount, but I like to think there's a third, and the third is quite simply is that he's the perfect funnel. If you can put a guy like this up on national television, on cable news and stuff like that, he's the perfect guy to turn people away from even looking or ever looking into these things. And that's why he's there, right? He's there because he is the perfect guy for them to discredit the whole awakening movement that is happening. And it's unfortunate because there's way better speakers that would be able to deliver this information, because a lot of what he's saying is, there's a lot of truth to it. I mean, the depopulation stuff, you know, there's a lot of guys, the eugenics programs, they're not myths, they're real, right? They're shit that's happening, and the BBC guys are making a joke out of the whole thing. Of course, they're fat, stupid guys, and what the fuck do they know about anything, right? They're working for, I mean, BBC, right? BBC is one of the major arms, right, of this whole new world order. So it's folly for Alex to even come on a show like this and think somehow he is going to win over people with a performance like that. It's not going to happen. The people that already believe in Alex will believe him after this, but the people who are on the fence will look at him and say he's just a raving lunatic. And that's what they want. That's exactly what they want. And how is it that Alex can't see this? Maybe he's just not bright enough. I don't know. Or maybe he's, you know, as they said, number two, whatever, part of the whole plan. I don't know, you know. And he keeps saying Infowars.com, you know, like, why is he saying that? Like, it's so pathetic, you know. It's, if you had somebody, if you had like a James Corbett or somebody up there who could get in front of these guys and just give them a bunch of facts and a bunch of references to documents and things that they could look up dealing with the Bilderbergs, all right? I've read about the Bilderbergs. I've fucking studied them for a long time. Yes, the euro definitely came from the Bilderbergs. So these guys kind of laughing about it, they're full of shit, right? They're just being stupid. But it's their show and it's their game, and they've got their dancing monkey or whatever here to perform for them, and they milk it for all it's worth. And you know, you couldn't pay someone big money to come on and put a more discrediting performance on this, right? You couldn't hire somebody to discredit the whole Bilderberg thing more than what Alex Jones has done on this particular segment. And that's really sad. It's really sad because he means well. I think he means well. I don't know. You know, how do I know? Fuck, I don't know I don't know for sure. I mean, I just don't know. But I just can't understand how he hasn't learned from his... Maybe he's got too many yes men around him. Maybe they're all telling him, Alex, you're God. Everything you do, Alex, we love you. You know, you can say anything you want. If I was with Alex, I would give him a good talk, and I'd say, look, your approach is not going to work. It's not going to work. It's going to turn off more people than it's going to turn on. Those people that are sitting on the fence, that are quietly mulling their thoughts while sipping their tea and watching the BBC at 6 o'clock in the evening, they're not going to win them over by screaming and shouting, right? They're not gonna go, oh, I'm gonna go listen to that guy. I'm gonna go check out Infowars. No, they're not. You know, they're just gonna fucking laugh and say, well, this guy is quite a loon, right? And it's unfortunate because there is good work that Infowars has done, and you know, there's a lot of important information that you can get from their site. Of course, there's a lot of crap too. It's unfortunate that this is the only approach that Alex seems to have. I put up the boat video the other day because I thought it was, I don't know, I laughed. I thought it was funny when I saw it. It just got me giddy and all that because it's Alex being Alex. And here's another one. It's the same thing. It's Alex doing the Alex thing. And, you know, maybe it works for him in the sense that he's seen the numbers of his show going up and enough people are seeing it and clicking on or whatever. I don't know. But if you're trying to get this message across, if you're trying to get the message, and the message is quite simple. There's an elite shadow government, which the Bilderbergs is a representation of. It's not the only thing. Obviously, there's many more, and there's higher up. But the Bilderbergs is the most transparent example of the power elite and their ability to carry out their agendas. When you have every single major media outlet, when you have all the big oil, when you have of course the internet giants like Google, Yahoo, when you have as I said, the media, when you have all the kings and princes and queens of Europe, you have so many different corporate leaders all coming together in a very clandestine, hush-hush, sort of event. Of course, now it's most people, as I said before, have probably heard about the Bilderbergs. That is what's going on, and it is a huge deal that they're meeting and carrying out these things like the euro and what they were trying to do with United States. Of course, they choose presidents and vice presidents as well. They particularly, to give two examples or a few examples, you could say right away they handpicked Tony Blair, they handpicked Bill Clinton, they handpicked Edwards, John Kerry. I mean, there's so many that had to go and do the Bilderberg sort of audition to appear, and so it is such a huge deal that the Bilderbergs are exposed. I mean, really, they should all be arrested and thrown in jail, but that's not going to happen, right? Because they own the police and they own the governments. So instead, you get this three-ring circus on the BBC. Which is shameful all around. I mean, it's not just Alex's performance that is awful here. These other guys, it's clear from the get-go that this guy has zero respect for Alex. The host has zero respect for Alex, and they're just going to use him as their little guinea pig here to discredit the whole awakening movement. And that's precisely what this is all about. This is all coordinated. It's just like the Piers Morgan. I mean, look at the people that are listening to Piers Morgan on CNN. I mean, they're not going to be won over by Alex Jones, right? And it's the same thing here. The people that are listening to these jokers on BBC, they're not going to be won over. So this is the big question. What is Alex? Why would he come on? Why would he do this when he knows it's just going to be used? He must know. It's a big question, and it's really going to muddy the waters even further. And where we should have really lively, sharp political debates on the Bilderbergs while this is happening, instead we have these riot fests, these bombastic sort of explosions, right, that are perfect for sound bites, perfect for dissecting and totally discrediting everyone who's trying to expose the Bilderbergs. So once again, Alex has performed extremely admirably. I imagine that the Bilderbergs maybe they might even watch this and cheer and all that, because this helps them immensely. And it'll just create thousands and thousands of more people that will just turn off once somebody starts talking Bilderberg or eugenics or anything like that. Depopulation, people will just shut down. Oh yeah, you're with that crazy loon there. Instead of looking at the documents, looking up at all the histories of all these Bilderberg members, looking up the history of eugenics, for instance, all the depopulation quotes from Bill Gates and Ted Turner and all the like. Instead, they're just going to remember this guy and how crazy he sounded and how everyone was laughing at him. And that's the sad reality. I hope that some people from InfoWars see this video, maybe even Alex, but I doubt it, and realize that their approach is totally wrong. They should be schooling Alex on this. I mean, he shouldn't be doing these interviews. He's good with the bullhorn, right, for getting the crowd going. He's good with his radio show because people who listen to his radio show know him pretty well, and they know what to expect. So when Alex starts going crazy and saying all these screaming and yelling and singing and whatever he's doing, right? They're not going to be turned off. But when Alex comes on, I mean, if he's got all these yes men around him and they're all saying that's okay, do exactly what you're doing, they're totally schooling him wrong on how he should be. He shouldn't be on these shows. He should not be on these shows. Get someone like James Corbett to come on the show. Put him there. And somebody who's got intelligence and is dignified and will not resort to screaming and yelling and just getting in a ridiculous ego battle with the host and shit like that. So that's it. I know these questions of Alex being disinfo and all that will continue. Obviously, this is only going to make it continue further. And I cannot say one way or another what exactly Alex is. I have a strong feeling that he believes what he's doing is right, and that he's not disinfo so much as that he is perfect for the elites, because he completely divides the people very quickly. And so the majority of people are just going to turn away from him and laugh, and then they win. They know the numbers game, right? They're going to win.